15 years ago, when I was a kid, the big thing on YouTube? Let's Plays. And there's one Let's Player in particular that stands out in my mind.
Hey everybody, it's Jugga Connor. Welcome back for more Super Mario RPG Legends of 7 Stars!
I must have been beginning my second rewatch of his Let's Play of Super Mario RPG for the SNES, when I thought, hey, he's on a Wii. I have a Wii. I can play this! And my dumb 9-year-old self almost convinced my dad to spend £80 on a game that I absolutely would not have been able to put into the disk drive of my Wii. And so, sadly, I did not get to play the original Super Mario RPG. And what with the question of rights to the game, and Nintendo seemingly moving away from original characters in future Mario RPGs, even a future port to NSO felt near impossible, never mind a full-blown remake.
Oh! Yes! Fucking yes! This is the best direct ever! Wait, it's not a remake. Oh my god, this... No one saw this coming.
I nearly jumped out of my seat at the sight of this beautiful game. Not only was it getting brought to the Switch, but as an actual remake. Before we get into how it fares compared to the original, let's just ask, what is Super Mario RPG? Well, believe it or not, it's an RPG. Originally developed and published by Square and Nintendo respectively for the SNES in 1996. It entails Mario and his friends such as journeying to defeat the evil Smithy Gang, who crashed into their world and scattered the 7 star pieces of Star Road across the land. Enemies are battled in turn-based combat, and, as in most Mario RPGs, with well-timed button presses you can do more damage and receive less. With the game's incredible characters, humour and graphics for its time, it's no wonder that it was so critically acclaimed, and why it inspired the creation of other Mario RPGs such as the Paper Mario series and the Mario & Luigi series. An absolute classic, no doubt, and so immediately my mind went in a particular direction.
Right, we need to see how toned down this has been. Please tell me it's just as it was.
And is it? Short answer, yes. I mean, first off, the visuals. Bam, 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 bam. Bam! It is beautiful. You can tell they really worked hard on this. Everything has been brought back in the most faithful way possible, without sacrificing any charm whatsoever, which this game is basically known for. With remakes of games like this, there's always the question of, okay, but what didn't get brought back? People who have played this game will definitely be thinking of a few things in particular, but let me ease your minds. That is back, that is back, that is back, that is back. Even these particular minions having names is back. This honestly might be the most faithful remake I have played in my life, but that isn't to say it doesn't come with some much appreciated upgrades. Now, this game previously being an SNES game meant that it did not have beautiful 3D cutscenes, but now it does. Now mind you, they're only 5 to 8 second cutscenes, sprinkled in across the game, but I feel they really add to the game's charm, and quite frankly they didn't have to go through the trouble, but they did, so I appreciate that. And speaking of cutscenes, when I first entered battle and noticed a percentage gauge that wasn't in the original game, I thought, that's odd. And then when it filled up and Toad popped up on my screen and said I could use it to summon him for help, I thought, oh god, please no. Because, well, Nintendo kind of went through a habit, especially with the Wii U ports to the Switch, of bringing the games over but adding what was basically an easy mode option. Oh, new Super Mario Bros. Port, here's an easy mode character. Mario Kart port, here's an option to have your kart never fall off the track. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze port, here's an easy mode character who has more than twice the usual health. Only adding things to make games easier but not harder. So seeing this, I was instantly questioning whether I just choose to ignore it for the rest of the game. I mean, it wasn't an instant win button, it was a block you could hit for a random buff, whether it be for attack, defense or something else. I pondered on this until luckily my worries were put to rest. This is a team attack gauge, but you can only do a team attack once you have obtained 2 additional party members, so the Toad Assist is just a weaker option for when there's less than 3 active party members. So let's talk about the team attacks. There are as many of them as there are combinations of different party members, each resulting in its own unique cutscene, damage output and other battle elements. Despite it being essentially extra free damage that otherwise wasn't there in the original game, I do really like the team attacks. They were really fun to collect and are an extra variable to take into account when deciding on team composition. The other main thing is that they didn't make the game feel super easy or anything, but you could always just choose to not use them if you really wanted to. The original soundtrack was already incredible, and now it has been beautifully remastered by the original composer no less. Many tracks in this game's OST are truly iconic, but it's the boss music I'd like to focus on. There were two main boss tracks, one much more loved than the other. Come the remake, it got a fine update, but it's the lesser track that got an absolute glow up in my opinion. Take a listen. And then the remaster. And then timing it just right with the newly added team attacks. So satisfying. This game is much shorter than most RPGs, but honestly it's to its credit, because instead of stretching out repetitive gameplay across 70 hours, it's packed tightly and bursting at the seams with fun dialogue, minigames and story beats. A fun example is when you meet your first companion, Mallow. He introduces himself as a frog, and it's like, well okay, these guys are called toads, so sure, why not? He's a frog. You help him out after he gets robbed, and then before you part ways he offers to take you to his grandfather, who might be able to help figure out where to go next. You arrive there and are greeted by actual tadpoles. And then his grandfather appears, clearly a frog. He gives us our directions, and Mallow's like, okay cool, see you later Mario. I won't be coming with you since I'm just a simple frog. Isn't that right, Grandpa? And we're hit with the shocking reveal. This game is so funny, man. And that's without mentioning the fact that when we are first introduced to the grandpa, he pretends to float but is obviously being lifted by a Lakitu with a fishing rod. There is no reason for this, none of the other characters address it, it's just goofy and I love it. So yes, as it turns out, Mallow isn't a frog, and so joins Mario on his journey in hopes of finding his real parents. This whole scene does an amazing job of being both silly but also impactful. Mallow is flawed and yet he's driven. It makes him such a lovable character, and you find yourself wanting him to succeed. All of this culminates together and you end up with a world that really feels alive, and there's no shortage of moments like that, trust me. I've been careful to only show the first portion of this game. I could go on for hours talking about my favourite moments and characters, but I would be robbing new players of being able to discover and explore this wonderful world for themselves. And if you're the sort of lucky person that got to experience the original back in the day, I still highly recommend this game. Give Nintendo your money and show them this is not only the sort of game we want remade, but it's exactly how we want remakes of beloved games like this to be handled in future. With nothing but passion and respect. If this sounds like the most biased review ever, I cannot blame you. I seriously had a really good think about how I could criticise this game. The only thing I could come up with is that the game could benefit from a hard mode for once you've beaten the game. You know, like a new game plus. I don't have any issue with the game's difficulty, but with it being a shorter RPG, it'd be awesome to have extra incentive to replay it. This is a game I'll be playing and replaying for the rest of my life. Long live Gino.